YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, rather casual after my appearance earlier in a suit. If you're wondering what I was doing in a suit, go check out the video I put up earlier. Yeah, and I'll just throw quick reminders in these. Check the link, or check the description. There's some links for those of you who may have missed it, but I'm running a Patreon campaign. Not going to go on about it right here, but check the link in the description if you want to see more about it. Anyway, welcome back to the sixth scenario battle that we're going to do today, and obviously this one's going to be in Napoleon Total War, and it's pretty obvious who the winner was from the last one, so let's pop that up there. Wong Christian says play the Battle of Waterloo. I don't know a ton historically about the Battle of Waterloo. You'd probably find that surprising considering that I like so much military history. I've never really read an in-depth story about what happened there. So I'm just going to give you all a very brief overview, and to be honest, there is a pretty detailed account just even on Wikipedia, and I'm sure there's a lot more books and other stuff that cover it in a lot more detail, but pretty good account there in terms of just having a lot of information for quick reading if that's what you want to get into. So I'll leave that link in the description as well. But so what happened? Napoleon came back after having been, let me pull this over here in front of me so I can read it. Basically, Napoleon had been in exile, and so he returned to power in March 1815. It says many states had opposed him, formed what they called the Seventh Coalition, and began to mobilize their armies. The two main commanders that faced off against him at Waterloo were going to be Wellington and Blücher from Prussia. And anyway, they basically cantoned up their armies on the northeastern border of France. Napoleon chose to attack the Seventh Coalition rather than allow them to attack in France. So that's why he moved and made the attack at Waterloo. The battle again is documented in great detail. There was cavalry charges, counter charges, all kinds of infantry action, capturing of buildings and farmsteads, lots of cool stuff. So a lot of neat stuff went on here. In the end, obviously, Napoleon's forces were defeated. And Wellington, I don't really know exactly what he means by this, but supposedly the quote goes by Wellington that it was the nearest run thing you've ever saw in your life. So apparently he must have thought it was quite some battle. But anyway, that was from Wellington. So again, the way I represented this in this particular scenario, and I already regret it a little bit, but I'll tell you, so it was one artillery unit per player just so that it wouldn't be arty spam, but honestly we should have had the French players bring more artillery because they had more artillery and fewer troops. So that was kind of a screw up on my part, but hey, we still played it. And then the other thing that is a little bit different is I actually had two players come as Great Britain. One is Prussia and one is the United Netherlands. And in retrospect, I probably should have had two Prussian armies, one from Great Britain and the Netherlands, just to make things. I mean, the Netherlands did not have as many troops at the battle as the British, but the British were not as many in number as the Prussians were, and so just by numerics, that's probably how I should have done it, but I didn't. Anyway, you've got those coalition forces, and there were also forces there from smaller participants in the Seventh Coalition too. You had folks from Hanover, Nassau, Brunswick, yes, and just other smaller commanders. So yeah, anyway, let's switch on over again. I'm not going to talk a ton more about this because you can go read up on it, and there's tons of interesting stuff for you there to see. So I'm going to tab on over into Napoleon. Let's turn the music back on and jump in here. So we're going to jump into the battle. We have everybody as France on my team, and I am representing Napoleon himself. I've got him hiding back here in the back from artillery fire because I figured that someone would probably be cheeky and shoot Napoleon with a cannonball. I'm trying to see where I have him. Napoleon. He's somewhere back here. There he is, hiding in the woods. So here is the Emperor. He's right here, and then the player across from me actually has the Duke of Wellington. So here's Wellington. And let's actually spot him. He's in a pretty sweet looking uniform. There he is, towards the back moving forward. So there's Wellington with this little sash. And then Gebhard von Blücher is here as well. Sorry if I say his name wrong. I'm certain I do. Here he is right there. So we have the three main commanders here. I believe someone else on my team brought Marshal Ney. No, someone else brought Napoleon Bonaparte too. So there's two Napoleon Bonapartes in the battle. Whoops. I thought we had clarified that, but perhaps not. General Staff. Yeah, there's Marshal Ney. So Marshal Ney is here too. And all these folks were present at the actual battle as well. There he is.
This building has fallen to the enemy.
So let's check things out and talk through it. So again, you've got the United Netherlands here. This French player on our side, man, he just runs forward and goes straight into the hill. And this is going to be pretty crazy. Because he attacks here, I don't feel like we can just let him get overwhelmed, but the rest of our troops are way far back. Buildings in this game seem very hard to destroy with artillery, which is actually kind of annoying, or just maybe we didn't have the right kind of artillery. I had a 6-pound horse. We're each allowed, like I said, 1 artillery unit. In retrospect, I think the French should have brought 2 artillery units and been allowed howitzers to help with the uphill attack. We do have this one gigantic artillery unit here that I've actually never used in combat before, but it's the Grand Battery of the Convention. Let's check it out. So that they are reloading it. So it's a huge artillery unit, very expensive, probably has very good range, and you can see them firing away there at their enemies. Let you all get some close-ups of that. The Creative Assembly really needs to get a Steam workshop for these games. I'd like to get some musket mod sound and stuff like that, but it's just been difficult to get a hold of. I go ahead and move up my line infantry, and I'm going to start engaging some British fencibles. This is actually a pretty sound plan by the British player, having these fencibles up front. It's making me waste ammo and take shots as I move in. He has a light foot in this house here, and they're able to fire from quite a ways away, and Prussia is just stacked up several units of musketeers. The British forces I'm facing off against up here, there's a Black Watch, a Highland Foot, there is a Foot Guards right there, and a King's German Legion, which there were some German legions for the British in this fight as well, I believe. Someone lost their general already on our side. Maybe it was the second Napoleon. Yeah, so there's already lots of fighting going on. You can see over here that the hill position for the Prussians is just... Right now, with the way this French player is attacking, this is just insurmountable. You have all the musketeers in the building. You've got light infantry, and then here comes a very nice British Royal Scots Greys charge. These guys did a pretty cool charge in the real battle as well, but then got a little bit disorganized. But here's the Royal Scots Greys. Pretty cool that they brought these guys to the battle. There's some Prussian Lancers in here as well, and that must be the general that died here from France. It was the second Napoleon Bonaparte that people never heard about in history. Yeah, so I go ahead and attack the British just to, if I can break up this British flank, I'll be in good position, but I mean, there's just so many British troops, and with that hill position and this building, it's going to be tricky. I decide to take a Young Guard here in a minute and rush the building to see if I can take control of the building to at least get some pressure put on the Brits here, but it's not working well. So, and my artillery is having almost no effect on the building, so I just decide to move it up and try and use some canister shot on my enemies. So that's the engagement so far, but the first French player who just ran forward just got absolutely slaughtered. And you can see that the balance bar is already tilting very much in the favor. This player from the Netherlands has a great position because he can put all these Dutch flankers up here. And they have long range, and they can be protected by this little ridge here that's impassable. So the Dutch have an extremely good position here, and then the British have just stacked this building full of foot. So the buildings make this kind of difficult, to be honest. They should make it where buildings are more easily destroyed by artillery. I don't see how little farmhouses can take the kind of punishment that they do from artillery and not fall apart. It's honestly kind of crazy. Buildings are way, way OP in Napoleon. But yeah, you can see that basically the fight just carries on over here. My guy's firing away, but not faring well, and all we've really done so far is just clear off a few fencibles. And now some of the British foot has moved forward, my Voltigeur. And Fusiliers of the line firing away. And then my cannons, I'm trying to put down some canister shot. I'm going to retarget these cannons here momentarily. One of my cannons just randomly got left up here at the beginning. Like, the guys didn't die. I had a full unit. They just walked off and left the cannon sitting there. So that's very intelligent. Like I said, we should have allowed the French players to bring howitzers just to make it a little bit easier to try and assault the hill. Because otherwise, at this point... this is definitely going to be extremely challenging for us to gain any ground. Here's some British foot. Let's watch them close up as they move up into firing position. You can see them moving up across from my men. And my Young Guard are now rushing the building. Some British foot was sent in here as well, but I figured hopefully the Young Guard would be decent in combat. And then I have some other units too. I have 1 Young Guard and 2 Old Guard, and then there was an Old Guard sent to join me, so I was like, hey, maybe we can get in here and win this. But the British player just hauls up, sticks all these troops here, and just fires indiscriminately into the building, which kind of helps us and kind of hurts us at this point. I think they have more troops to lose than we do at this point. The Prussian player over here with the Prussian Fusiliers is just... You can see the bodies of all the French that they wrecked shortly before this. So the Prussian Fusiliers firing away stake lines to help prevent cavalry from getting up. So big, massive fight right here, and it is not going well for us. The French do not face off well against Prussian Fusiliers. So yeah, this battle I would say is going quite poorly for us at the moment. Though the Old Guard coming in this building is going to help a lot. Here comes some British Dragoons. Getting down the hill, getting very close to these French troops. No squares yet and no charge from the Dragoons at the moment, but we'll wait and see if these British Dragoons charge. Right now they're just standing here.
Our men are running, sir.
These Dragoons just got a move order but started getting shot as well. They're going to go for this weakened Old Guard. That's probably a good target. Take it out of the fight. So tossing the Old Guard everywhere. There comes both Dragoon units. This Polish Legion right there. Now if these units form square, they're going to be in trouble. I don't even know what these guys are doing. Yeah, the British Dragoons at this point have broken through the lines, and it looks like they're going to start chasing this Voltigeur, and they are going to get behind our lines. So definitely not good. The attack over here is not going real well for me. I pour my cavalry in. The British player forms a square, and I keep giving my guys disengage orders, but they are not following those orders. So I'm having a very difficult time getting past this unit of foot. I was trying to take out the British cannon and these fencibles, but my guys, the pathfinding, just sent them straight into that square. And there's a lot of other foot units around, so I'm trying to plow through here, bring some foot guards into combat to help drive off my cavalry. My cavalry is going to escape and get into the British backlines, which gives me a chance. And in this building right now, there's a ton of fighting going on, but because we have some Old Guard in there, it is scaring enemy units, but our units are just getting absolutely throttled by fire from over here. And it's just an ugly fight. There's a lot of British troops in here. Our guys did very well in melee, but, I mean, just too much attrition here. It's just going to be too much, and I can't seem to get up the hill and break through. This Highland foot, too, is quite decent in melee, and it's making it to where I'm scared to charge up this hill. Part of me wishes that maybe I would have brought some militia of my own and tried to use them to get my guard units up here to see if I could punch through with some Old Guard and Young Guard. But I did get my cavalry back here. I'm hoping to get a hold of Wellington and maybe Gebhard von Blücher if I can.
Sir, your general has been killed.
Yep, Napoleon got killed. Sorry I missed that moment, but it happened... Or no. Yeah, it happened right back here. Right here. These the British Dragoons that got through our line came over and actually got a hold of Napoleon and killed him. So he fell on the battlefield somewhere right around here. He's probably lying on the ground. Yep, there's the Emperor and all of his spread eagle glory. Just fell off his horse. So the Emperor lies on the battlefield. So definitely not good news. And it's pretty much from this point out where it is going to turn into the Battle of Waterloo, as I like to call it. I do bring my cavalry out, and I'm pushing my men up the hill and hoping that I can do some melee charges and then support quickly with cavalry rear charges, but the other British player is reeling over with Dragoon Guards, 2 units of them and a Dragoon, so my cavalry is about to be caught and destroyed. But whatever, I'm going to try and cause some damage as quickly as I can. I've got the British Black Watch and everything pinned right here. I'm going to take out the cannon, and then I'm going to get a very nice rear charge onto these British troops who are engaged in melee combat with my Lancers. And then here comes another one into the back of the Black Watch. Downhill charge there, and then I charge Wellington, and I thought I was going to get him, but old Wellington is proving that he's quite good at running away because he hops on his horse and gets away very quickly here. Napoleon wasn't so lucky earlier.
Our men are running, sir.
Wellington the chicken. Anyway, these Dragoon Guards are going to charge in here and just absolutely destroy my men. So my cavalry's dead, my infantry's dead, the Black Watch is charging in to support the Dragoon Guards, and my army over here is just going to absolutely crumble. And yeah, at this point the coalition is definitely going to ratchet up the level of slaughter. Check out the sweet cavalry fights going on here. Dragoon Guards up against my Chasseurs à Cheval and my Chevaux Légers Lancers, or however you say that, something like that. Chevaux Légers? Yeah, something. I don't really remember how it's pronounced. Marshal Ney's still alive back there. At least one of them's alive. Here comes an Old Guard charging into melee combat here. They will actually do pretty well against these troops if they have enough numbers. It's only 17 of them, though, so probably not. But they do scare nearby enemy units. If they're actually winning, they will rout enemy units quite well, but that old guard is going to die. And now there are very few French troops left on the field. Towards the end of the battle in real life, Napoleon did run kind of, and I was joking around in the comments, the Dutch player has just been over here, the Netherlands have just been over here on vacation. They're just here for moral support. Like, check them out, they've just been standing over here the whole time, like, yawn. The Netherlands has no interest in doing anything, we're just here to observe. Same thing with this British army over here. These guys are just like chilling out at the farmhouse, getting a fresh loaf of bread, churning up some butter, tea, crumpets, you name it. But yeah, at this point, what few French troops remain are going to be under heavy assault. This artillery has taken a beating from enemy artillery fire, so the Grand Battery is no longer looking so grand. A few French troops left over here. That Polish legion's getting wrapped up by Prussians. Just Prussians everywhere. The Prussian Fusiliers absolutely wrecking. Here comes some Netherland infantry, United Netherlands infantry. They're going to face off against these Polish Legion. Let's see how they do here. Polish Legion are usually a little bit better on the charge, but they're okay. See them firing away into the Dutch line infantry here. They're going to start returning fire as well. But yeah, the remaining French troops here are in pretty big trouble, and they're going to start getting pushed hard. The British player that faced off against me did lose a lot of his men, which at least that made me feel good. At least we killed most of them. I think Marshal Ney here probably just died or is about to. Yeah, I think he... is he alive? No, there's two men, and one of them's definitely not Marshal Ney. I think he's dead at this point. That Highland foot's going to try and shoot him. But yeah, old Wellington survived the charge, the attempted kill mission that I put on him, and here he is, overseeing the battlefield in all its glory, watching the Battle of Waterloo unfold in front of him, and seeing Napoleon defeated. Very good moment for him. But yeah, as for the French, it's going to be rough. There are a couple of cool units left, though. We've got this. We've got a couple of units here that you'll like to see. So we will watch those. Back here we got an old guard, a Polish Legion, and everybody's favorite, the guys who can never be made fun of because their name is so serious, the Guard Seamen. Let the puns begin. So yeah, the French players. So another French general down. The question is whether the Allies will lose any of their commanders before this is over, because right now it's not looking like it. I do believe that William, Prince of Orange, was injured in the real battle, if I remember right. But I don't believe he died, unless he died of his injuries later on. I don't really remember. But yeah, here the Polish Legion facing off against overwhelming Prussian forces. A little bit of Swiss foot here too. It's going to be firing back into some Highland foot and Black Watch. These are some cool units, the Black Watch and Highland foot. Cool Scottish units there.
All hope is lost, sir. This battle is almost done.
You are correct. Anyway, here comes the old guard out here to support this flank. These guys still have some work to be done. And they're going to move the Guard Seamen and some of these other units over here to help support too. The French definitely putting up some kind of fight here, and this helps our numbers a little bit with the coalition moving off the hill and attacking. That was part of the deal here, though, that since Napoleon attacked in real life, I said that my team had to attack in the battle, and that's what we did. The Old Guard, let's watch them move up and fight here. Old Guard is obviously a great unit in the game, and from up here on this hill position, they're going to be able to put a pretty good hurt down on their enemies down there as long as they get in range. They must be just outside of firing range. There are a few Prussian Fusiliers moving forward here, chasing, routing French troops. So this Old Guard is a little bit unsupported, but these are pretty tough guys, and so they just put a brutal volley into that Highland foot. And some British Dragoons that were down about the way are going to charge them in the back, so the Old Guard going to take a nasty charge here from the Dragoons. They won't rout instantly, though, because this is the Old Guard. but that is certainly going to do a lot of damage. And it's at this point that the Scotsmen are like, bring it on, old guard, we're not scared of you. Okay, maybe we are. And then they decide, no, really we weren't scared of you. We're going to go ahead and come into melee anyway. So these Scotsmen aren't scared of the old guard. They're all just going to gird up their kilts and charge into combat against the old guard, which is extremely ill-advised. But with the support of the Dragoons, they can probably pull this off. But yeah, lots of melee-centric units here. Old Guard facing off against the Highland Foot and the Black Watch. So going to be some cool combat here. The Dragoon Guards definitely softened up the Old Guard considerably. But in a longer, drawn-out fight here, the Old Guard will kill a pretty substantial number of the Black Watch, the Highland Foot. But they're just overwhelming numbers here. So the Old Guard will not be able to win this. But like I said, in that uphill position, they're going to do a lot of damage to their enemies. The Dragoon Guards are going to move along and look for more targets. Though they probably could have helped finish off the Old Guard. I'm guessing they just assumed that they were going to rout at any moment. But they actually hang in here and fight down these Highland Foot pretty substantially. So a very heroic stand here by the Old Guard. They may be called the Old Guard, but these guys fight like they're young. Yeah, I mean, look, they've fought these guys down to 48 men, 32, and the fight continues. Let's go see what's going on over here. Some Guard Seamen being charged, getting point-blank shots into the charging Musketeers. Guard Seamen will also be pretty competent unit in melee. They did get charged, but they're going to do quite a bit of damage there as well. There's one Swiss foot back here as well. And look, here comes Gebhard von Blücher, like right up into the fighting. And there are some stakes right here. And I was watching this and I was like, uh-oh. The coalition haven't lost any generals, but is old von Blücher gonna maybe did he have bad eyesight or anything? Is he gonna go into these stakes and pull like a total patchy move and get himself killed on stakes? Yeah, these Guard Seamen putting up a ruthless fight against the Musketeers there, and the Old Guard only just now routed, brought the Highland Watch down to 35 and 22 respectively. So very impressive fight. Here comes von Blücher moving extremely close to the stakes. And like I said, at this point, I was just absolutely glued. Like, oh, is he going to kick the bucket on a stake? Because he's trying to support this fight, no doubt. Trying to get rid of the Guard Seamen. So let's just kind of watch what happens. There's old von Blücher back there. Right now, he's not moving. Yeah, we got British troops moving up the flank, though. Well, one of them actually routed. The Highland Foot did. The Guard Seamen almost routs all these guys, too. So, impressive fight from the Guard Seamen there. Alright, let's see if he does it. Here comes von Blücher. Oh, right up against the stakes. Oh! Gebhard von Blücher took a stake. He must have been a vampire, but he is no longer. Here comes some Dutch cavalry. They have some chevaux légers, or however that's pronounced. I think it's just light cavalry, basically, that they're bringing in here. So what's left of the French troops being run down by these Dutch cavalrymen. And the Battle of Waterloo is complete. The last French commander falls, and these British dragoons, which played a very critical role in this battle, actually, taking down Napoleon, the actual Napoleon. So that is going to be the end for the French forces. They were thoroughly defeated by the 7th Coalition here, and like I said, renaming this the Battle of Waterloo. Though Napoleon was defeated, at least numerically speaking, it was a pretty decisive defeat. Though I think it was a little bit closer than this in the actual battle in terms of having moments where the French almost made the push-throughs that they needed to. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed this Waterloo scenario. That is going to be it. So you can see the number of kills there. I actually did decent on my team, I guess. This Templarius guy did the best. And Riff here with the Prussians did some fantastic work here, out-killing everybody on the battlefield by a pretty substantial margin. And like I said, the Martian player here as the Dutch, he's on a vacation basically, but hey, they joined in there at the end. Like I said, I hope you all enjoyed this one. I appreciate the players who joined me and helped make this a fun game. Remember to go down in the comments and vote for what you want to see in the next scenario battle. I am out of town this next week. I will be recording videos on my laptop. I don't know if I'll get to record the next scenario battle, though, until maybe towards the end of next week. So this gives you all a lot of time to vote. Now let me give you just a couple of pieces of advice. I'm seeing a ton of people putting a comment, like, so for instance in the last one, a ton of different people put comments for, I think it was like the Battle of Tours or whatever. And there was like 50 different comments asking for it, but none of those comments had any thumbs up. So before you go put a comment in, look and see if someone else did, and if they've already put it, upvote it, because it's the comment with the most number of upvotes that's going to get it, not the one that has the most random one-time comments. So hopefully that makes sense. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. Hope you all enjoyed this.